Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we are having a very real, no-nonsense conversation about the 2026 property market. I know a lot of you watching this right now are sitting on the fence. You have been waiting for the right time. You are thinking, maybe prices will drop, maybe supply will suddenly appear, maybe I should just wait and see. Well, I'm going to burst that bubble today because if you are actually looking closely on what's happening on the ground, and I mean really look at the data, there is basically nothing left in the market. We are facing an unprecedented inventory crunch across the board. I'm talking about HDBs, private condos, and especially the landed market. The choices are vanishing. If you are waiting for a buffet of housing options to magically appear so you can leisurely take your pick, you are going to be stuffed out of the market. In this video, we are going to break down exactly what is happening in 2026. We will look at a shocking new trend of who you are actually competing against, dive deep into the HDB and condo markets with hard data, and finally talk about the absolute wild west of the landed property scene. Grab a coffee, take some notes, and let's get into it. Before we move on, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Else, if you want a personal consultation, do contact my number below. Before we even look at the housing segments, you need to understand who is sweeping up the limited supply right now. If you think your only competition is the older generation upgrading their homes, you are dead wrong. A recent Straits Times article just dropped a massive reality check. Young Singaporeans are aggressively entering the private property market for investment. The local banks have released their data and it's mind-blowing. DBS reported a massive 40% jump in home loans taken by borrowers under 35 between 2024 and 2025. UOB is seeing their loan volumes for this exact same under 35 segment grow by more than 15% year-on-year, with average loan quantums blowing past the $1 million mark. And OCBC? They reported a 36% increase in singles buying private properties for investment in 2025 alone. 1 in 3 of OCBC's new home loan customers buying private property are singles. Let's look at real people doing this. Take Terry Tan, who is 32. At 28, she bought a unit at the sale for $1.25 million, rented it out for $4,008 a month while working in New York, and recently sold it to upgrade to a brand new 2+ study at Pine Tree for $2.1 million. And she's doing all of this while living in a rented HDB flat. Or another example, Hilda Tan, 31 years old, who got so sick of the crazy rental market that she just went ahead and bought a $910,000 condo at Waterfront Isle, eventually renting it out for $3,200 when she relocated. Why am I telling you this? Because this younger demographic is heavily armed with capital. They are doing joint purchases to pool their resources and they are sweeping up the inventory. They are not waiting. If you're sitting on the sidelines, this highly liquid, aggressive younger generation is literally buying your future home right out from under you. Okay, let's talk about the HDB market. If you're an HDB owner waiting for your flat to appreciate so you can cash out a massive profit, you need to wake up. The era of skyrocketing HDB resale prices is over. The government has been giving us warnings for months, and now it's materializing. In Q4 2025, HDB price growth completely flatlined to 0%, and we even saw a 0.1% decline. Why? Because the government is intentionally flooding the market to moderate prices. Right now, we are getting hit by a massive double whammy. First, the government is rolling out 55,000 BTO flats between 2025 and 2027. But here's the kicker. 2026 is the year of the MOP tsunami. We are seeing an influx of 13,480 units hitting their minimum occupation period this year alone. Let's look at the data for these estates. We have massive blocks unlocking at the exact same time. Alcove Oasis in Toa Payoh is releasing 1,594 units. Tampines Green Verge 2,022 units. Down at Dawson, Sky Residence and Sky Oasis are dropping over 2,400 units combined. Think about the basic laws of supply and demand. With 13,000 MOP units suddenly flooding the secondary market, your older resale flat is completely drowned out. The supply is choking the system. What does this mean for you? If your HDB price goes into a free fall, it literally erodes your cash proceeds. And cash is the single most important component component, you need to upgrade to a private condo. Do not wait for the market to force your hand. My advice? Be proactive. You need to make a controlled price adjustment of about 3% right now. Be the market leader in your block. Drop your price slightly, edge out the competition, sell fast and cash out your equity before the MOP tsunami completely wipes out your profit margin. Take that cash and pivot into the private market immediately. Let's talk about the private condo market. Alright, you have cashed out of your HDB, or maybe you are a buyer ready to enter the private market. Let's talk about condos. You might think, oh, I'll just wait for the next batch of new launches. Maybe they'll be cheaper. Guys, the final window of the GFA harmonization advantage is officially slamming shut as we speak. When this policy was first introduced back in 2022, developers panicked. Land prices dropped by 20% because developers weren't sure what the market would accept. But guess what? They figured it out. Their confidence is back and they are executing massive power plays by bidding up land prices to insane new levels. Let's look at hard data. Let's look at Tanjong Ru. A joint venture just won a site tender with a staggering bid of 1,455 per square foot per plot ratio. Based on our calculations, this means future launches here are going to average around 3,000 plus PSF. Let's look at Lentor Central. Guaco Land aggressively bid 1,278 PSF PPR for a site because they saw Lentor modern resale units successfully transacting at 2,004 to 2,005 PSF. They know buyers will pay it. Another example in Dover, developers put down a 1,556 PSF PPR bid just to set a new benchmark and drive consumer confidence for their nearby Hudson Place launch. We are looking at a future launch price averaging 3,002 PSF. Every single plot of land sold after June 2025 is 20 to 40% more expensive. Let me introduce you the harmonized asset swap strategy. So, what do? Because there are almost no cheap options left, you have to execute what I call a harmonized asset swap using the last remaining inventory. Let me give you a real-world example. We have an OCR resale unit at Lentor Modern, which is non-harmonized, selling for 2.408 million on the secondary market. That same seller can immediately turn around and buy a brand new harmonized RCR launch like Penrith for 2.439 million. Or look at Park Colonial, an owner sold their non-harmonized resale for 2.325 million and upgraded to a CCR new launch Sky at Holland for 2.394 million. You are literally selling an older condo further away from the city and buying a brand new condo closer to the city for the exact same price. But these specific lower land cost units are vanishing daily. Once they are gone, you are permanently forced into the new 2026 benchmark prices. Let's talk about the landed market. Finally, we arrive at the crown jewel of Singapore real estate, the landed market. If you thought the condo market was tight, welcome to the Hunger Games. Let me paint a very realistic picture for you. You have a massive budget. You wake up on a Saturday, ready to buy your dream landed home. You meet your agent, and you know what they tell you? Sorry, we only have 2 to 3 units for you to even view. There is basically nothing to choose from. Why? Because the supply of landed property in Singapore is completely inelastic. There are only about 73,000 to 75,000 landed plots in existence. The government is not carving out new land to build you a terrace house. Because of this extreme scarcity, the entry barrier has violently shifted. Back in 2020, you could secure a standard inter-terrace for about $2.5 million. By 2024, that jumped to $4 million. Today, in 2026, we are officially in the $5 million era just to get an entry-level, livable landed home. And by livable, I don't mean a place that requires a $1 million gut renovation just to fix a leaking roof. The brutal math? To even play in this sandbox, you need roughly $1.5 million in upfront liquid capital for your down payment and stamp duties. And your household income? You need to be making about $38,000 to $40,000 a month combined just to clear the TDSR for a $3.75 million loan. But those who successfully cross this barrier are seeing insane returns because of the scarcity. From recent transaction of a landed home at Hillside Drive in District 19, the owner bought it it, held it for just 5 years, and walk away with a $2 million profit. That is an under-leveraged annualized return of 15.4%. Try getting that in the stock market safely. But it's also a market of extreme value hunting. For instance, we saw buyers comparing a fully built up Luxus Hill unit going for over $5 million against a hidden gem just down the road at Gerald Drive that was secured for sub $4 million. The buyers who hesitate lose out to the value buyers instantly. And if you think you can just buy a cheap old house and rebuild it easily, beware. I've seen people whose simple A&A was supposed to take 9 months. It ended up dragging on for over 2 years because of constraints, party wall issues with neighbors, and complications. The takeaway here? Developers of new landed homes are shrinking the sizes because loan quantums are capped. The inventory of older, larger pre-2024 landed homes is the last bastion of value. If you're waiting for a market correction to buy landed, you are literally fighting a losing battle against a permanently fixed supply. Let's tie all of this together. What is the ultimate message for the 2026 property market? Whether we are talking about HDBs, private condos, or landed estates, the overarching reality is the exact same. The inventory is shrinking and your window to take action is closing rapidly. If you are a HDB owner, the floodgates of 13,000 MOP units are opening. Your prices are flatlining. You need to cash out now before your equity gets washed away. If you're looking at private condos, aggressive young buyers are sweeping up the last remaining units from the low land price era. And if you are aiming for landed property, you are fighting over a permanently capped supply of 73,000 plots where $5 million is the new normal. The Singapore government has brilliantly engineered this market with over 20 rounds of cooling measures to ensure that property remains a safe haven and a fundamental need, not a speculative gamble. But because it is such a safe haven, everyone wants a piece of it, and there is simply not enough to go around. Stop sitting on the fence. The fence is getting way too expensive to sit on. Analysis paralysis is going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost equity and missed opportunities. If you want to figure out your exact exit strategy, whether that means doing a controlled price drop on your HDB, executing a harmonized asset swap for a new condo, or hunting down the last remaining value plots in the landed market, reach out to me. Let's sit down, run the numbers, and take action before you get permanently priced out. If this video gave you the wake-up call you needed, please hit that like button, share it with anyone you know who is still hesitating, and subscribe so we can keep bringing you the hard truths about the real estate market. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.